Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne back to do your bonus read. I'm going to use the Golden Tarot by Kat Black here. I'm hoping, I've got a couple of weeks off soon and I'm hoping to get through my tarot decks and start taking out the ones I really don't use or that don't resonate. Sometimes you buy them because they look so good and then you just start working with them and they're just not, I don't know, it's not that you don't know them, it's just that they don't feel as nice as others. So sometimes I get a bit attached to one. I guess it's like anything, isn't it? You know, you can buy 2 pairs of jeans and get really attached to one and not like the others. And it's a bit like that with the tarot cards. Okie dokie. What's happening in the bonus world? Alrighty, 4 of Wands coming out. Very nice. The 4 of Wands is the card of stability. It's a card that represents traditional marriage, traditional celebrations, people coming together. Of late, it's sort of really earned itself the whole 1111 twin flame card too. So a lot of people are seeing it that way as well. I'm drawn to the Tower in the back of this card today and the fruits here. So I'm wondering if something's going to come out about that. Let's keep going. I have the Ten of Swords here. So the Ten of Swords is a card that talks about ending out a cycle. We see a person with a lot of swords in their back. This is negativity. This is thoughts and ideas that really haven't served you. It could be other people's, it could be your own. But whatever it is, you've had enough now. It's time to move on. You're moving into a different time. Okay, so some of you dealing with a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo with the King of Coins in this deck, of course, the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is a person who's really comfortable with their own wealth. They're comfortable with where they are, a little bit money focused, but that's okay. They like their, earthly pleasures. They want to make sure that they are comfortable. We do have the 4 of Swords coming out here with the 5 of Swords. Very interesting. Someone here is trying to find stability after closing out some sort of cycle. There could have been some, pretty dark times here. You see this guy's in bed with a bandage on his head. Oh, that was poetry. Oh my goodness. The man's in bed with a bandage on his head. But there seems to have been a lot of conflict he's had to go through. And he's resting up now after closing out something here, closing out a cycle. But it's really nice because he's brought in some stability here. So whoever this is, if this is you, it looks like you've been through a pretty sort of rough time. But it also could be the person you're dealing with who's been through a rough time here as well. So I'll keep going with the story. All right, so we have the Lovers card here. So the Lovers card is the card of 2 people who have been brought together. As you can see, they're divinely brought together here. So the universe is bringing them into some sort of union. I don't really know that I have much really at the moment. Okay, King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sag. Now, I can't discount that could be you, but we have a King of Swords coming out here as well. So this is quite interesting because this is a choice between 2 people here. The Lovers card represents, and did for a very long time in the traditional tarot, represent a choice. And there are 2 people. Let's keep going. Okay, yeah, you've got someone here who's making a choice between 2 people. The 3 of Cups often denotes reunion, bringing people back together. It can also talk about something interfering with 2, and very often denotes a third-party relationship. Someone's making a choice between 2 people. Someone wants to make an offer. I have all suits on the table at the moment and Gemini. Someone is ready to make a long-term offer to someone here. Okay, it's creating a bit of distress though. This person's pretty, sometimes I think Spirit is very cheeky. This person's having a great deal of anxiety about this. A great deal of anxiety. I guess that's why it sort of got them into this state of depression. The calling here for them to move to a new person because they have feelings for someone here is very great. And they're trying to move away from a previous or old situation. Because they want to make an offer. They want something with someone else here, something long term. But they're fighting with their masculine side. And when I see the masculine side, I think that's the side of the provider. So it may be why the King of Pentacles has come out, because sometimes he can represent a husband or a wife, a partner. I feel here that someone is really toying or working with the idea of leaving a long-term partner behind, someone they've probably had children with, someone they've got a very established relationship with. I feel this is very similar to the What's Cracking reading again this morning. This person is going through a great deal of anxiety. A great deal of anxiety. All right, so we have the Hermit card coming out. Followed by the Five of Cups. Yep, someone's having a great deal of difficulty here. I feel like whoever this is has gone backwards and forwards so many times here. Because they are trying to understand what this means for them. So they're constantly going backwards and forwards, toying with the idea of how do I work at this? What do I do? How do I manage it? Someone's had the calling from the universe here. Okay. Oh, and then we have the High Priestess. So again, quite a few major arcanas coming out. This person is learning to listen to their intuition now. They still feel as though they're a little in the dark. They're still sort of floundering in the darkness here. So they're still going between the idea of the universe drawing them, but also their own. So they're flipping backwards and forwards between their spirituality and their ego. Their ego is keeping them tied to a former situation, and their spiritual side is calling them forth through their intuition. So they're still going backwards and forwards here. And I saw that tower in the beginning, and I feel like that tower is about to fall. It has to come down. It can't stay. Because this person has to be able to discard whatever it is that's holding them back, the energy. Because there's a lot of learning here for this person. All right, let's just have a look. So the person's learning about themselves at the same time, which I guess is the most important thing. We have some sort of stability being brought in. I feel that this person has come to a point where they need rest or they're recuperating. There could have been a lot of, they've come walking away from something. If they haven't done it emotionally, they could have been in the process of physical, but they're definitely moving away from something here. They're looking for this stability, I think. They're trying to find their way towards this here. But trying to understand the calling. You know, it's funny, isn't it? Because I always say to people, you know, very often before we make a decision or before we decide on something, the universe really tries very, very hard to get our attention. You know, and it may be something, you know, for example, you know, have you visited someone? You know, have you been to see someone? Have you done this yet? Have you gone yet? And you start getting that sort of really guilty feeling. And then all of a sudden, you know, something happens and you have to go. I have a little story which I think is really cute. I had a very close relationship with my grandmother. And as an adult, I remember going through a time which was pretty dark for me. And I wasn't eating very well. And this voice in my ear kept saying, you need to eat your fruit and vegetables. And I was like, okay, let it go. Fruit and vegetables, yeah. Anyway, so I went to a reader. I've been going to readers all my life, really. And I remember the first thing, when I sat down in the chair, she said to me, your grandmother's behind you. She's telling you you're not eating your fruit and veggies. I was like, yeah, rightio. So it's like somebody's got a little voice in this person's ear saying you need to make a decision. You can't stay like this. It's creating a great deal of anxiety for you. We know that decision is really hard. We know that you are toying between working with your ego and working with your spirituality, but it's time now to make this choice and move forward. And that's what's happening in this reading. This person's really starting to understand through meditation, through working on themselves here, that the intuition is what's right here. And even though there's some sadness behind it, they're understanding that they need to listen to this gut feeling. They are no longer alone, is what the universe is saying. They are already with the other person. So it's a very divine match here. Okay, nine of coins. Oh, with the Justice card. So this person's gut needs to be alone. They need to separate and they need to be by themselves to heal. So this person is moving away from what they're in, but they're going to take the time to heal themselves before they move. They want to make an offer. I can see that here. I think they've had the calling that this person is a divine match for them or a divine mate. But I think that there is a lot of healing that this person needs to do, and they need to do that by themselves. They've worked their way through a lot of karma here. So you could be dealing with someone who's come from a karmic relationship or some sort of other karmic situation. So they've worked their way through some sort of karmic situation here. But they are on their way. Alrighty. Alright, we have the card of Earth coming out. Isn't it a stunning card? Look at the eyes on that person. How beautiful are they? Okay, card 17. So the invitation says, when the Earth symbol appears, it represents a need to focus on reverence and appreciation for the natural gifts that are coming to you now and always. The concrete world you inhabit is there by the grace of spirit and you're part of it. Much can be accomplished now when you focus on compassionate, reverent service to the world. If you act with integrity, gratitude and humility, you will find yourself more prosperous than you can imagine. Success is assured when the earth appears as an invitation. I think that's really about, understanding that there is a material world and understanding that there is a spiritual world, and what you're choosing to live by. So some people sort of talk about the 3D and the 5D, moving into the 5D, living in the 3D, and you've got someone who's between worlds here. And you may have already moved. You may be already doing the shift into the 3D and understanding the spirituality, embracing your spirituality. This person's stuck between the two worlds at the moment, but they are going to free themselves up. This is karmic, so they have to work through the energies here. Have a great day, everyone.